Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar briefing for the MyWorld Challenge Call in partnership with Digital Catapult today. I'm just going to introduce myself. I am Sarah Adezio, the Innovation Partner and Programme Lead for MyWorld at Digital Catapult, and I will be your host for today for this webinar, exploring this challenge call that we're launching and how to apply and the benefits for industry and for the region. We'll also be covering the NVIDIA Challenge and the Open Challenge in this briefing. This webinar has been brought to you by Digital Catapult, and before I run through the agenda and introduce today's speakers, a few words on who we are as an organisation. Digital Catapult is the UK authority on advanced digital technology. Through collaboration and innovation, we accelerate industry adoption and drive growth and opportunity across the economy, and in the case of the MyWorld programme, to support the development of regional clusters. Through our specialist programmes and acceleration activities, we ensure that innovation thrives and the right solutions are supported to make it to the real world. So on to the main event and the agenda for today. I'm going to be introducing the MyWorld programme and saying a little bit more about that. And then following that, my colleague Jen will be presenting the challenge call, Catalysts and Connectors, Tools for the Creative Industries, and the Accelerator programme. After that, we'll be hearing from David Johnston, who is our lead technologist, who will expand a little bit more on the specific challenges that have been developed in partnership with our industry partner NVIDIA, and the open challenge for businesses to apply with areas of research and development that might be relevant for their business roadmaps. And David will be telling us a bit more about that. After this, Nicola, our Partnerships and Engagement Manager, will outline the steps for applying and what a good application looks like. So that's really the agenda for today. Any questions at all about any of that, as I said, do put them in the Q&A section in the box. So the MyWorld programme, for anyone who may not be aware, this funding call is actually part of the MyWorld programme, and Digital Catapult is delivering the open innovation strand of work in the programme, which is led by the University of Bristol. This programme is a UKRI Strengthen Places funded programme investing £30 million into the region over 5 years. And it aims really to develop the creative industries ecosystem in the region, carrying out leading edge research, exploring the creation, delivery and assessment of experiences. It's also offering skills and training and developing state-of-the-art facilities, but that really is just the tip of the iceberg of all the activity that's going on in the MyWorld programme. So if you're not already signed up to the newsletters, please do sign up to those and you can keep in touch with all the activity that's going on. So as I said, Digital Catapult's role is to design and deliver open innovation funding. And we're doing that through 2 collaborative research and development calls and 2 open challenge calls over the 5 years. We've already delivered our first CR&D call, and this is the first of the challenge calls. We'll be awarding £2.9 million of UK Strength in Places funding to over 30 projects, with a key focus on production and enabling tools and technologies and services for the creative industries. I really would like to stress today that and encourage people to think strategically about all of the funding that is coming online during the duration of the programme, because one of the options really could be for anyone who's thinking of applying to this challenge call, there is the possibility that an idea that you apply with could go on to be developed into a CR&D bid for the CR&D call, which will be launching later this year in October. And if that's something that is of interest to you, it's really, we really do recommend that you begin those conversations with the research organisations now. Certainly in part of your planning for applying for this call, if it's something you might want to develop going forward. If you have those existing relationships with the research organisations, then that's fantastic. As I said, do please begin those conversations now. But if not, do let us know, and we will be really happy to support you to make those introductions. So I am now going to hand over to my colleague, Jen, who is the Innovation Delivery Manager delivering the challenge call, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about the call and the acceleration activities. Jen, if you'd like to turn on your camera, I will hand over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. You can now turn your camera off. Hello, everyone. So our theme is Catalysts and Connectors, Tools for the Creative Industries. A bit of background on why we chose this theme. All our research and feedback from the industry conversations we've had supported that tooling is where real value could be created at this time. Also, it was identified as an area of growth with opportunity for scaling outputs relevant to SMEs in the ecosystem, and the research in the programme, exploring creation, delivery and assessment of experiences. And we're delighted to have NVIDIA as our industry partner, collaborating with us to define the industry challenge for this call. So to look at the accelerator experience, we have a 16-week programme alongside the funding that runs from June to September. So it's in 3 sections: ideate, prototype and testing. So in the ideate section, we will validate the proposed idea with industry partner and Digital Catapult. In the prototype section, we'll define the core functions and other product development. And in the testing phase, we'll test with industry partners and Digital Catapult. As part of the ideate phase, we'll have masterclasses, a value proposition workshop, a scoping of the work and tech roadmap, and demo reviews. In the prototype phase, we'll have the demo reviews, business support, mentorship, and peer-to-peer support. In the testing phase, we'll have demo reviews, pitching training, a proof of concept session, and a pitching event. And this will be followed by a showcase in spring 2024. Now, this is a great opportunity to work with our expertise in Digital Catapult. We have innovation practice teams, immersive tech teams, and product development teams and design teams to work with during this accelerator experience. Next up, I'd like to invite my colleague David, our lead technologist, to join me.
Thanks, Jem. You take your camera for now. So I'm David Johnson, the lead technologist here at the Catapult, supporting programs such as MyWorld. Our theme today is tooling for the creative continuum. So what are we actually looking for? Well, our definition of tools is very broad. However, this is really important. We do expect the project to deliver some technology. They don't necessarily have to be software projects. It could be a hardware solution to an on-set problem, or a physical workshop pack for ideating new content forms, for example, but it does have to deliver some form of technology. Funding is to accelerate current thinking or activity. It could be used to turn early stage ideas into an MVP, add new functionality to existing tools, join disparate workflows together, or develop a bespoke approach or workflow into a tool ready for the market. What we're not looking for is purely content-led ideas. To reiterate, the outcome of all output must be the creation, acceleration, or delivery of a tool applicable to the creative sector. This includes projects that are purely about application of existing tools in the market. There must be a new or novel element to the proposal. We would imagine some projects having content as part of the validation or demonstration of the project, however. But just to reiterate, the outcome or output must be the creation, acceleration, or delivery of a tool applicable to the sector. So, as we've all said, there's 2 challenges for this call: an open call, which covers the breadth of the MyWorld program, and a more focused challenge designed by our partners at NVIDIA. Now, we can't have anyone from NVIDIA here today, unfortunately, so I'll be presenting this challenge. As you know, NVIDIA are an organization who make GPUs and do lots of interesting research in the world of AI and computer graphics. Both NVIDIA and Catapult are aligned in believing that interconnected virtual worlds and technology solutions like digital twins could revolutionize many industries, including the creative industries. In order to achieve these ambitious goals and visions set out for how we'll experience and interact with these virtual worlds, we'll probably need new approaches to creation, collaboration, and delivery of that content. These new technologies will be required to underpin these platforms, many of which are being developed by companies like NVIDIA today, with things like Omniverse and their research that you might have heard of. So NVIDIA's challenge is centered around cutting-edge AI tools, real-time 3D collaboration, and multi-platform delivery. The challenge is to look at some of the existing platforms and tools developed by companies like NVIDIA, but also others, to leverage state-of-the-art AI approaches to capturing objects such as cultural landmarks or interesting environments, taking that content and bring it into content creation and collaboration tools, building 3D AI-driven avatars in the space and describe content or provide historical background or context, or enabling these kinds of experiences to be delivered via multiple platforms, like on a local workstation, through a web browser, through an HMD or a tablet, etc. You can kind of focus for this challenge on any of these areas to kind of innovate in, and we're really looking for ambitious projects. In terms of the technology, the goal of this challenge is to explore new ideas and be creative with tools. So as I said earlier, we're not looking for things that are led by content. But if you were going to apply for the NVIDIA challenge, we'd be looking for things that would be interconnecting these tools. So while we don't want to prescribe specific tools, we wanted to give you some idea of what's available to help accelerate your development. So some of these are NVIDIA tools, some are made by third parties or are open source. So things like NERF, which is a new form of capture using machine learning, along with other scanning and processing techniques. They're a huge topic right now in the world, particularly for research companies like NVIDIA. And they're kind of breaking new ground in the way we can capture the real world environment and people. Things like Omniverse and Nucleus are ways to collaborate and plug in various different kinds of architecture. So from things like Maya all the way through to 3D avatar platforms, you can plug those into Omniverse and allow them to seamlessly transfer data between them using things like USD, which is a 3D description format, which both in the VFX and certainly in the real-time industries are betting on becoming kind of the lingua franca or the HTML of the 3D internet. And we think it's a really interesting space for people to be exploring for this challenge. And then there's obvious things like Epic's Unreal Engine and Unity that we'd imagine some of these challenges to be using. And it's the connections between these tools that we're looking for in this challenge. So that's the kind of NVIDIA challenge. There'll be space for questions at the end. So yeah, like I said, that's the call design in collaboration with NVIDIA. As I said, we're also running kind of broader open call, which invites applications across the breadth of the MyWorld program. So again, broadly, we're looking to fund projects to create new prototypes, accelerate development of products or services from existing technology, or explore the viability or commercialization of tooling. As you can see here across MyWorld, the research is split broadly into 3 pillars of creative tooling, the things about creating and capturing, delivery tooling, how do you get that thing to the audience, and assessment tooling, how do they feel about it and what are the quality metrics. However, we don't expect or require these applications for this challenge to be so segmented. And in fact, we really like the applications for the open call that straddle that creative continuum, which is the underlying idea of the MyWorld program, to reflect the cyclical and interconnected nature of that idea. The examples are to give an idea of the kinds of things we could imagine seeing. So don't use them as a guide. But a few examples, like in creative tooling, we might see tools that allow the creation of novel types of content or allow scanning of real world environments. In the delivery tooling, we could see applications looking at the facilitation of encoding or new types of content for configuring networks live immersive experiences. And in assessment tooling, we could see things that look at quality metrics of new video coding techniques or enabling new types of audience assessment. These are really broad examples. And really, like on the NVIDIA challenge, we're really excited to see innovative applications that that kind of really push the bounds of what we can do in this area. I'll now hand over to Nicola Price to talk a little bit about the application focus. Nicola.
Thanks very much, David, and thanks to you all for coming for today's webinar. We hope we're finding it useful. I'm Nicola Price. I'm the Partnerships Manager at Digital Catapult, and I want to talk to you about what we're looking for in a good application, the application process, and what we're looking for in a successful application. This is a competitive process. We are awarding funding to the best and highest scoring applications. Firstly, we do have minimum requirements. So it's a 2-phase of assessment. Phase 1 is that you satisfy the minimum requirements. Phase 2 will be your application and proposal. So minimum requirements are, you need to be based in the West of England region. So that's South Gloucestershire, North Somerset, Baines, City of Bristol. And you need to be an operating business with a UK bank account. You need to be eligible to receive state aid assistance. And the team that you are proposing for the challenge has to have experience in the area that you're applying to. Your team members must comprise of 2 or more members of the team, and that you are applying a prototype, process or product which will deliver technical solutions addressing the theme of the challenge. That could be the open challenge, or it could be the NVIDIA challenge, as David has given you the overview of. I want to give you an overview of the assessment. So as I said, your application will be initially assessed and put on a long list if you fulfill the minimum requirements, and that we can't progress or judge any applications that don't meet these requirements. we're seeking applications from startups, scale-ups, creative studios and developers who work in the creative sectors. We've specified in the application form guidance for each question that we're asking. And if I could give you one piece of advice, it would be to familiarise yourself with the questions that we're asking in the application form and answer as fully as you can. Don't assume that the reader, judges of the application know anything about your business or the project that you're proposing. Ensure that your information is concise and clear and can be understood. We are going to offer bookable surgeries. So if there's anything about the application process or questions that you don't understand, or you want to talk about the technical remit of your proposal, please book a session to discuss and we can interrogate that further. Your application will be judged against the following criteria, as you can see here on the screen. The first being strength and originality. The idea presents an innovative solution to the challenge. Relevance and feasibility, that your proposal is relevant to the programme theme and is feasible within the budget and timescale of the call. Value for money, that your idea and combination of cost and scale is reasonable with respect to the effort proposed. And I'd like to say it's important here is to consider that we, as I said, are welcoming applications from startups, creative studios and developers. So we're going to have a cohort of businesses who are at very different stages in their business lifespan. And so the funding that we are providing will do different things for different businesses, but make sure it's scaled appropriately. Again, we're looking for a team experience. Give us an example of previous projects that you've worked on to demonstrate that you have a good track record, that we are, satisfied that you will be able to deliver the proposed solution within 16 weeks. And then also consideration to the impact both to you as a business, to also the creative industries in the West of England region. The application process is here outlined for you. I just want to kind of give you an overview. The application's opened for submittable proposals on Monday of this week, on January the 23rd. If you're interested in making an application, you need to go to our website, Digital Catapult, and using the registration form available to you, register your details. You'll then receive an email with a link to the application form, and you'll have until March the 13th to submit your applications. We cannot consider late applications, so please do yourself a favour, don't leave it until the last minute where there might be human error or technical issues and that you miss the deadline date, because again, we can't receive those. We have bookable surgeries that you can book yourselves into, and then after the call has closed, we will assess all of the applications that have satisfied the minimum criteria, and we will notify our shortlisted and invite to interview, which will be on the 19th and 20th of April. We'll then notify our successful applicants, announce our cohort, and then the 16-week accelerator programme will start on June and run until mid to late September. And as Jen notified, there will be an opportunity at the end to have a showcase in 2024. Thanks very much for listening. We really welcome any questions that anyone has. If my colleagues could turn on their cameras, that would be great. And I'll start looking in the Q&A box. So the first question is Wiltshire classified as the West of England? If not, could the funding be used to relocate to a West of England location?
So I would say that the funding can't be used for Wiltshire location, unfortunately. It's for the West of England region, which is Bath and Bristol area, North East Somerset and South Gloucestershire.
Thank you. Could you provide an overview, Jen, of what the timeline of the Open Challenge is? Does that differ from the NVIDIA Challenge timeline?
Sorry. No, at this stage, no, the timeline doesn't differ from the Open Challenge.
Thank you. How would you book a surgery slot, please?
Okay, so you just need to go to the web page and you can apply for a slot through there. It goes through to Calendly.
Thank you. Do all the team proposed in an application need to be based in the West of England?
No, it's just the operating address that needs to be in the West of England.
Thank you. How much funding is available and what types of business partners are we likely to be matched with?
So the funding is for £50,000. I'd like to pass to Sarah for the second part of the question.
Thanks, Jen. If I understand it correctly, there's no match funding needed for this. And if the question is asking what types of business partners are you likely to be matched with, we wouldn't be matching anyone with a business partner. You essentially will bring the idea with your team to deliver the prototype that you're applying with.
Thank you. David, are you aiming to give a certain number of grants to the open call and a certain number of grants to the video call?
No, we have no preconceptions about the amount or kind of applications we receive, and therefore what we will award. Purely on merit.
Thank you. Can we have partners or subcontractors from outside of the region? And do businesses who make an application to this challenge fund need to have a university partner?
No, they don't need to be in the region, and the same with the university partner as well. And actually this call is not about university partnerships, that's more the CR&D call, I would say.
And just a point, can I just make a point of clarification on that? Around subcontractors, the lead applicant needs to be from the region. If you are recruiting any subcontractors from outside the region, then do let us know, if there's any reasons why you feel that's really imperative not to seek to work with somebody from in the region. But essentially the lead applicant needs to be from within the region.
Thank you. Jen, could you clarify what the West of England region is, and does Devon classify as West of England?
So Devon wouldn't be in the West of England region. The West of England region is the 4 local authority areas. So that's North East Somerset, South Gloucestershire, Bristol and Bath and Somerset as well.
Thank you. David, would generating a pipeline using existing software to generate viable volumetric video for VR be an acceptable proposal?
If the output of the project is a new or novel technology, then yes.
Thank you. And how wide is the definition of creative?
I believe it is the PEC definition of the creative industry, Sarah. I'm looking to you here, which is advertising, marketing, architecture, crafts, design and fashion, film, TV, radio and photography, IT, software and computer services, publishing, museums, galleries and libraries, and music, performing and visual arts. You can find that information on the link I am going to share in the chat right now.
It is also in the call brief. They're listed in the call brief.
There you go. That's what I should have said.
Thank you. Is something at proof of concept stage applicable to this challenge call?
Yes.
Thank you. Are the applications for both challenges made on the same form and then you decide which is which?
So on the application form, you opt whether you're applying for the NVIDIA or the Open Challenge. And I do suggest one of the things we've been saying to people is that before you book into a surgery, it's worth looking at the link to the submittable application form that you'll be sent once you've completed the registration of interest form, because you'll see exactly how you have to apply. And then if you have any specific questions around the form, you can bring those to the surgery. But there is a drop box where you select you're applying to the NVIDIA or the Open Challenge, and then you complete the rest of the form.
Can you make multiple applications per business? Could you apply to both the challenge call and the open call, Sarah?
Yes, you can. You can apply to both NVIDIA and the Open Challenge, but we will only award one company once. So you may wish to address both different challenges, but you would only win or be awarded on one of those projects.
Thank you. If my company is based outside of the West of England region, but the work I propose is effective within the region, would my application be valid?
I'm afraid not.
Thank you. Can challenge call applicants or challenge call recipients apply for the CR&D call that we are launching in October?
Absolutely. And actually, that's one of the things that we are, as I was saying at the beginning of the webinar, that we're really encouraging people to think about is this development and progression of ideas. So if you have an early stage idea that you want to explore through this challenge call, but you have relationships with the research organisations who would be interested in supporting you to develop it into a CR&D bid, then absolutely, I strongly recommend that you begin those conversations now.
We have no further questions, but thank you, team, for answering that. I'll hand you back to Sarah.
Thank you very much, Nicola. So do log on to the Digital Catapult website, or you can find it via the MyWorld website, the link to the call for the FAQs and the T's and C's. If you register through completing the form, you will receive the link to the submittable application form, the Calendly links that we've mentioned to book into the surgeries to have one-to-ones with the team. There'll be 20-minute appointments where you can meet members of the team, and some of those will also have a very specific technology focus where people can meet with David, the technologist who you've been hearing from today, to discuss any technological kind of questions that you have about your idea. And those links will be on the event pages via both the Digital Catapult website and the MyWorld website for you to link to and book into on the 9th and 10th, or the 20th and 21st of February. The deadline, I just want to stress again, is actually 23:59 on the 13th of March. So really good luck with your applications. Do book into those surgeries and come and talk to us. We realise there's a lot of information to process. And once you've had a chance to look through everything, we're sure you'll have lots of questions. So please feel free to contact us anytime via the myworldinfo@digitalcatapult.org.uk email address, and we'll be checking those and responding to any questions there. So we've come to the end of our webinar. A big thank you to all of our speakers and to all of you for joining us today. And from me and the Digital Catapult team, we really look forward to speaking with you further about your applications.